What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and you can almost always trust a politician to act in their own best interest rather than in the interests of the people they're supposed to be representing, which is what we seem to have going on here with that whole Steam situation that we discussed the other day with the government threatening Gabe Newell and Steam because some players on that platform have dared to think things that elements of the government don't agree with.
Welcome to real life.
How dare you, you insolent peasant! Nobody talks to me that way! Nobody! Nobody!
You probably remember that Mark Warner, a Virginia senator, has announced that he's, quote, taking action against hateful and anti-Semitic rhetoric proliferating on Steam. We need to ensure that social networks aren't breeding grounds for extremist, violent groups. Meanwhile, he claimed his actions were in response to a report written by the Anti-Defamation League, where they looked at a microscopic proportion of people on Steam and concluded that some of them used Pepe the Frog as their avatar.
Oh, dear God, no!
This was already a flimsy enough excuse to be threatening Valve, but now more information has come out suggesting that there was an even worse reason for this jackass to be doing this in the first place. Basically, you can always assume that the moral panics perpetuated by these government schmucks are for their own profit in some way.
Trust me.
How about no?
It's been revealed that one of the top contributors for Mark Warner in his recent election was Disney. And as I'm sure most of you know, Disney owns a massive stake in Epic Games, and even recently announced they would be partnering with the company, allowing the likeness of their characters to be in Fortnite. Epic Games is one of the chief competitors of Valve, so this certainly has the appearance of a conflict of interests, which helps explain why this goon is trying so hard to interfere with gamer spaces.
Here I come to save the day.
Go away.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to refer to it as these days. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. My handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyhow, let's dig into who this Mark Warner guy is a little bit more, because I find it fascinating that these jackasses in the United States government would think they can waltz on into gamer spaces like this and that there wouldn't be pushback. Of course, they think they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and get by with it. So I suppose this isn't surprising, but to be clear, this seems to be a coordinated attack from elements of the progressive political left wing, using their totally not a part of the government, but they always do what big government wants, ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. They wrote their report about Steam just a bit over a week ago, so not long after the recent elections, which didn't go at all the way that they wanted. And I'm fairly confident this is a bit of a hissy fit, a retaliation against gamers who are dominated by males. It's a hissy fit against them, retaliation for not voting the way that they want. These people are petty as hell, after all. But like I said before, Mark Warner received a shitload of money from Disney, about as much as they're legally allowed to contribute, in fact. As it says in this post here from ex-user Mr. Reality, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that Mark Warner is bankrolled by Disney, who just pumped $1.5 billion into Steam's chief competitor. And if we look at this image that he posted, it tells us that earlier this year, Disney invested $1.5 billion into Epic Games, which they are using to fund what amounts to the biggest competition for Steam. However, ex-user Madam Savvy did a really awesome deep dive into this senator, which tells us even more about what a corrupt, anti-free speech enthusiast he appears to be. She wrote, "If his name sounds familiar to you, that's because Senator Warner was exposed in the Twitter files released by Elon Musk and Matt Taibbi. Warner was part of the politicians and governments pushing platforms to censor certain accounts, despite those accounts failing to show a pattern of behavior that support his claims." And if you're not familiar, the Twitter files are a series of files that were released by Elon Musk after he purchased Twitter in order to provide some clarity as to what the people at Twitter were doing with the platform prior to him owning it. But anyway, we're going to skip down in Madam Savvy's tweet to where she wrote, "In 2021, Warner aimed to reform Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which holds companies accountable for what is posted on their platforms, claiming the aim is to prevent hate speech, harassment, and human rights abuses. The ADL previously supported this and praised him for it." Given this, there is a clear history between them. Even if it is small, this causes concern. Why? Because he is now using a report from them that is based on misrepresenting data to make egregious claims. Less than 1% of accounts on Steam engage in the sharing of Pepe the Frog, which is just a meme. It is not hate speech. It is not, quote, right-wing. But that's just the thing. It's hard to tell how much of the actions of these sorts of people come from ignorance and how much comes from genuine malice. Because let's be real, everyone knows that Pepe the Frog is a meme. It's a stupid meme, but it's been effective for one side of the political spectrum in conveying their ideas. So the other side is now attempting to turn it into a de facto symbol of hate speech. Which, as I said the other day, I despise that term because it's meaningless. Who gets to determine what hate is? It's entirely too nebulous. But in order to strike against their political enemies, the oh-so-tolerant progressives are doing everything they can to transform a stupid meme into something akin to a swastika, and it just isn't going to work. It's hard to believe, given the connections that Warner has with Disney, that there isn't some kind of ulterior motive as well, a way of helping out his political donor. But, like I say, this is feeble and I doubt it will work. Gabe Newell is going to do what he's always done, which is nothing. He's just going to let his platform do what it's always done, and they're going to thrive. And these dinosaurs in the political spaces who love to create moral panics for their own benefit, they are going to die off in the age of the internet, where information is much less carefully curated as it was decades ago before the public gets access to it. We can see what these schmucks are up to, and without the shroud of secrecy, their threats lose much of their sting. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of these government turds into the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.